Okay, hi everyone. So in this video, we are going to make something a little like Twitter, but it's going to be called Quitter because I'm going to quit before we finish it. But that's okay. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn about storage, databases, and how to authenticate with this magic link right here. So let me show you what it looks like after I tell you that we're going to use Sveltekit, Supabase, and DaisyUI, which is built on Tailwind CSS. Okay, so we're going to use magic link just because it's the simplest. So you can click magic link, and then it'll send a link to whatever email you put in there. So it should send it here in just a moment. Let me refresh, make sure it's there. There it is. Okay. And then I can click right here, log in, and it'll bring me here to the page. So I can make a post, and I can make comments on posts. It's not fully like real-time updated, but I could say cool, and it'll post the comment, but you have to refresh to get it. But that's okay. You know, we can figure stuff out. Maybe we'll do a better job when we make it the second time. But for example, you can also do something like this, and I forget what image that is, but this is something, and I can post it, and it'll appear here. Again, there's a little bug that we might be able to fix where the image isn't showing up right away, but that's there, and we got likes. Okay, cool. So you can also sign out, and this is made with Svelte Cubed right there. You can click on it. Okay, so let's actually make this thing. I'm going to exit out of that, and first what we need to do is we're going to start out with Sveltekit. So here's some code, but we're going to exit out of that. And in a terminal, what you need to do is go to some directory, wherever you want it to be. For example, here I have it in my Sveltekit directory, and we're going to do npm init svelte at next, and we're going to call this Quitter. So hopefully I didn't already name something like that, but you're going to say yes. You're going to do skeleton project, and we'll just say, let's say no to these. Okay, so we can change directory into Quitter, and we can code dot, so open that folder in VS Code. I actually wanted to hide this from you. I finally have this second monitor, so I can hide it from you over here in my other one, just in case I get lost. Okay, but this is our new project that we just set up with Sveltekit. So what we want to do is add, first of all, Tailwind CSS, which is with npm install, or sorry, npx svelte add at latest Tailwind CSS. So it might be a bit different depending on when you're watching this video, but just look up svelte add. But hopefully this should work. So we do that, and then we're going to npm install DaisyUI, which is this thing right here. So it basically gives you components that are built on top of Tailwind CSS, but you can just use these, and they give you these little classes here. But then you can modify them with Tailwind CSS classes as well. So it's just a nice, quick way to do things. It also has a bunch of themes, which I like. So it has all these themes, but it's got more as well. Okay, so we installed DaisyUI, and then we need to npm install just for the project in general. I haven't done that yet. Okay, there we go. Cool. So we have set up our Sveltekit project, I believe, and then we just need to set up Supabase. Let me just check my notes. Now that I have this second monitor, I can check the notes. Okay, set up Supabase project. After, one last thing we need to do here is require DaisyUI. So after you've set up Tailwind, you just need to npm install DaisyUI and then add it here to plugins like that. Okay, I think that's all we need for Sveltekit and our Tailwind DaisyUI stuff. Now let's go to Supabase, and we're going to start your project. You might need to sign in. I've already got my thing here going. So I'm going to do a new project, just be practice. I'll call it Quitter. Did I already have something called Quitter? I don't think so. So Quitter, put in a password you'll remember. Put it closer to me. Create new project. Okay, so we'll have that. Wow, and having the second monitor is nice because I can just copy and you can't even see. You can just copy paste stuff into here. So first of all, oops, no, I don't want that. We're going to have lib, and then inside there we'll have our Supabase client, like that. And I can just paste that in, bam, nice. So import create client from @supabase/supabase.js, which we need to install still. So copy npm install that. Okay, and then we need to fill in Supabase URL and public key. So if we come back here, we got our public key right here. Copy. Okay, and then our URL right here. So it's okay if people see this because this is going to be sent on the client, so people could like check the source code and this will be there. The reason it's okay is because the user needs to actually sign up in some way, so we can track who their user is, and based on who they've signed up as. So basically, they need to sign up before they can do anything in our site, and then based on who they sign up as, we can control what they have access to in the database. So okay, so that is Supabase right there. It's still setting it up. That's fine because we have what we need in our client here in Sveltekit. Okay, so a few random things that we need to do before we keep going is come to this will try auth. Yeah, come to the auth right here and go to settings. And what I like to do is just, at least for practicing, we don't want them to, they don't need to confirm their email. They can just use whatever email and then they'll be logged in as that. I don't want this here. How do I get rid of that? Oh well. Okay, I turned that off. It was a little slow. It seemed like it was lagging a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so I did that. And then the other random thing is you can choose a theme. So if you want to change the theme of your site, you can come to source app.html, and right here do data-theme. So this is for DaisyUI. You can choose a theme. We'll do cupcake. And like I said, here you can choose one from here for yours. Okay, and then I think we can finally. Oh no, we can't finally. We can npm run dev. Sure, let's do that. Npm run dev, open. Oh, whoops, it opened it in my other browser. Okay, well, in Sveltekit, like that. So Tailwind resets all the styles, so it just looks like that. Okay, but so here in app, cupcake, that's good. Let me get back to my notes here. So another thing I want to add real quick before we get started is an error component. This will just be for error handling in the future. So Supabase returns errors, and those errors have a message that you can show the user, I believe. And then we want to modify our layout component just to add a container around the slot here, like that. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can set up our login page. First of all, we're going to create a services file. So whenever we interact with Supabase, we can use this file here. There's some weird spacing in here. Sorry about that. But so we've got a get user. So supabase.auth.user, that'll just return the user to you. For sign in, it's just await supabase.auth.signin. And if you pass in just the email, it'll be the magic link like we have it set up. So we only need sign in because they don't need to sign up. They just need to say send magic link. They get it to their email, and then we know who they are. We know what email they're using. So and for sign in, you can have an error. You could also get a user and a session, but since this is a magic link, it's just we don't care about user or session because those don't start until they actually click the magic link. That's what creates the user and session. So we're just checking for an error. And here we're checking for an error when they sign out. So that's all that can happen. Okay, so we got to sign in, we got to sign out. Now let's create our login page. Login.svelte. And just for some boilerplate here, we are going to, we got the error here, we've got our sign in, we've got this get user function, and then we've got a go to in a browser. So these things here are just used to redirect the user to the main page if there is a user and we're on the browser, rather than like pre-rendering or I guess server-side rendering. Okay, so that's just that just redirects. Let me redirect if already logged in. Okay, so what do we need to do? Let's come to DaisyUI and find a form input that has a button with it. So form input with a button. So you can choose either of these. I think connected looks a little nicer. So it's the first one here. So we're going to bring that in here. And let's turn this into a form rather than a div, just so it's a bit more semantic HTML. And here, placeholder search, so we can say email. So sign in. I feel like login is maybe more colloquial. Login to Qwitter. And let's make this bigger with Tailwind CSS class text 4XL. Okay, so this label is 4. That's why it's yellow, is because I don't have a 4. For email. So the type of this input is email. ID equals email. Okay. And then our button here will submit our form. So get magic link. So on submit, prevent default. We're gonna do the sign up. So let's create another function. So what I'm gonna do is have a promise, a like sign in promise while the magic link is being sent. And then it'll resolve with either an error or with some data. So let sign in promise equal, we'll just say promise.resolve. I think that's what is okay. And we'll have a function, so handle sign in. So right here, when they submit, handle sign in, we will say sign in promise equals sign in. And we want to pass in the email. So right here, we got to pass in an email like that. So let's bind, let email equal, I'm just going to use this one as the default, but for you it would be blank, just so I don't have to type it every time. And I'm going to bind that value equals email to this input. So they're going to type something in. We can make this required also, like that. Sign in promise. Okay, so let's see what we have, first of all. Okay, here we are. Get magic link. So that's all working. They click sign in. Okay, so sign in promise, right? So we want to await this promise. So you basically, when you're working with these types of await promises, async stuff, you kind of want to think about what do you want to see in every state of this. So there's an idle state before anything's happened, like, well, not like that. Like this. And then there's the loading state while it's running. And then after it's done, did it succeed or fail? So while it's loading, that one's usually pretty simple. So sending magic link to this email. Okay, so that's what it's going to say while it's loading. Now, .then, so I've set it up like this, so it's guaranteed. So Supabase guarantees, rather than like throwing an error for a promise, it'll just pass the error to you right here. So it's guaranteed to like not throw an error. It's not going to error out on you. So you're just going to get this error. It's guaranteed to resolve. That's what I'm trying to say, rather than reject the promise. So it'll resolve the promise. You get this error, and now I want to send back. Basically, this will make sense in the future, but basically, if there's data, so data will be true, and error will be false, or vice versa. So you can check is there data, or is there an error? So just to make that clearer, let's actually do that. So this will then return back a data and error. I'm just calling this data because that's sort of, in most cases there will be data. For the sign-in, there's no data really, but this just tells us that it was successful. And then we don't have to worry about catching anything because it's guaranteed to resolve just with the data and the error. So if there's an error, we want to show this form again. So if error, then let's use that error thing. Actually, we don't need to do if error. We can just do error and pass in the error. So if there's an error, it'll show us the message. And then otherwise, if there's data, that means it was successful. So if data, then we're going to say maybe we'll do something like this. Text green 600 success. So we'll give them a success message. Successfully sent magic link to there. Okay, and otherwise we want to show this. So if it was successful, we just need to say good job. Like we don't want them to send another link, basically. So when I resolve right here, I'm just resolving with nothing. Like this will be empty and this will be empty. So this won't show and this won't show. It'll just show this here. Okay, if there's an error, it'll show this, and there won't be data, so it'll show this as well. So that's maybe a bit confusing initially, but hopefully it gets clearer. We're gonna do something like this a few times. Okay, anyway, so I can come here, get magic link, some error. Let me see. Okay, we just forgot to pass in email there. Okay, get magic link. Sending magic link to Svelte Mastery, successfully sent. Great. So now I can come here. And I just want to show you too, let's say I refresh it and I did it again, I'll get an error because I can only send one every 60 seconds. Okay, so here it is. Log in. Cool. So now I'm at the main page. So it redirects me to whatever I have here in my settings. Okay, so cool. That is basically all there is to the login page. Now what we want to do is a create post page. So here, once we're actually logged in, yeah, we want to have a create post page. So let me make a new component, create post.svelte. Okay, and we want to have a create post function. Let me go get that real quick. So in our services, okay, yeah, so here in services, we're going to add this guy right here, create post. So what this is doing is from posts, so we'll create that in Supabase in a second, insert content and user. So before we add the image, we're just going to do content and, so user types something and they submit that. So here in Supabase, we're going to create a new table, call it posts. And we want row level security so people can't just do whatever they want in the database. So add a column user. So we're going to link that to the users. So this is like the built-in auth users. And we want to look at their email. So we're basically just going to use the email as the username and identify the person with their email. So email, and then we're going to have some content, which will be text. And you want to check these here. you don't want it to be nullable. So a post needs to have a user and some content. And we'll come back here and add images later. So save that. And then, okay, so now we have a post table. That's great. Let's go to the, oh, which one is it? Not that one. Yeah, auth. Go to policies, and then new policy. Okay, so kind of like Twitter, we're going to make the read access available to everyone. So you can just click this here, use this template, select true. So it doesn't matter. Under any condition, anyone can select anything. I think you don't even have to be logged in. Okay, and then another policy, insert access for authenticated. So you do need to log in if you actually want to create a post. So I think that makes sense. So use this template, insert auth.role equals authenticated. That sounds good. Now, here it gets a bit trickier with update. So we're not going to implement any update functionality, but theoretically, someone could take our public key and our basically our Supabase config here and like make their own app and start updating and deleting and stuff. Even if we don't allow it through the UI, someone could just like manually with Supabase code try to update or delete stuff. So we want to say enable update access for users based on their email. Well, actually, we don't even need a template maybe. Let's just say nobody can update anything and nobody can delete anything. So no updates. I mean, maybe we'll allow delete, but no updates. So if you want to update, allow operation false. Okay, so I think the difference between using and with check is like, I'm updating something. So I think one of them is a condition probably using that gets checked before I do the update, like with the current row, and then with check is checking for the new content that I'm updating it with. I believe. I'm not sure. But that's why there's two, because there's something before you've updated it, and then there's something after you're updating it. But we're just going to say false, false. So no updates. Okay, I think that's okay. And then new policy. Okay, enable delete access for users based on the user ID. I think that makes sense. So you can delete it if it's your own post. So a post, though, remember, so here's the email one, auth.email equals email. Here, we're going to use this, but we need to modify it a bit. So auth.uid. And I'm not an expert at this, so hopefully this is right, but try it out and test it before you do anything crazy in production or anything. But I think this should work to only allow users to delete their own posts. So auth.email equals user. So this is the posts. Remember, it's public.posts, and we created a user column, which referred to, it's just a foreign key to the user's email. Okay, so if the person that is trying to update this post email equals the user, which is an email, then allow them to delete. Well, it really should be all, probably. They could update if they wanted to, but I don't know which one would take precedence. Okay, anyway, save policy. And there we have for our posts. Okay, so now let's actually create the code. So create post. We have added this service here, create post. Let me, okay, let's get the actual DaisyUI component that we want to use. So we want a form text area. I think we just want the normal one, this here. Let's take that. And we want a button. And I think that can just be, also let me change theme to Cupcake because that's what we're using. Yeah, I think we can just use one of these ones here. Let's see. Okay, so below the text area, we'll have a button, and that will submit this form. So on submit, prevent default equals handle create post. Okay, then here in scripts, we want to import create post from lib/services. This label wants something, so what would you like to quit? And this feels a bit unnecessary. I mean, maybe I should just not have a placeholder and put this here. Because then it's like two labels, I don't know. But let's make this one maybe a little bit bigger too. Text XL 4 equals post. And we're going to bind the value post content. Okay, and let's import that into our index here. So script import create post from lib/create post. Okay, let's see if it's showing up on our page. Okay, there it is. Here the button you can say quit that show it. And do we want like a header or something right here? Welcome to Qwitter. And let me put this in a span. I mean, actually, preferably we have like maybe I say header, and then rather I was gonna put it in span so I could put a button in the H1, but I think this is probably better. I mean, do you put an H1 in a header? Not positive. But then we can have our logout button here. Button. Okay, it's just doing that because it's doing like hot module reloading, I think. And okay. Yeah, this is a very thorough video. I usually try to go faster, but just gonna go as quick as I go. So header flex justify between, and let's make this one bigger. Text to XL. Okay, welcome to Qwitter, log out. What would you like to quit? Okay, cool. I think that's fine. We just need to actually add the post. So handle create post. So function handle create post. Okay, and now we're going to do that thing again where we have a promise. So create post promise equals promise.resolve, like this. And we're going to put await create post promise. And actually, we're going to do this a bit different. Basically, well, let's make this required also. Sorry, I'm kind of putting these in random places, but the elements, but that's okay. Okay, so required. Basically, we want to disable the button when we're waiting. So we can keep showing the form in text area. I think that's fine. But we just want this button here to be different. So while we're awaiting, we're going to show a disabled button. Disabled like that. And then Okay, and then there's going to, as a response, be some data, or there might be an error. Just like before, we're guaranteed to get something back. It's going to resolve. It's not going to throw an error. It's going to resolve, and then in here we can check, okay, did this create a post with some data? So the data will be the new post, and or is there an error? So if there's an error, we can just show maybe, let's see, what do we want to show? Like right below it, let's put that error component that we made before. So import error from lib/error.svelte. So if there's an error, it'll show right there. Otherwise, we can also show like a, just like before, class text green 500. Or was it 600? Successfully created post. Maybe I should have made a component that handles this data thing too, just like error. But anyway, okay. So if there's an error, if there's data, just a reminder what error looks like. So if there's an error, show it, but otherwise it won't show up. Okay, so create post promise await. So while it's pending, we show this disabled button here. And just in case someone like undisables it, you can say type. I mean, I guess they could get around this too, but it won't submit the form if it was for some reason not disabled. Doesn't really matter. But okay, so we await this create promise. So when we create post, we want to say create post promise equals create post. So again, we should, okay, we got our post content. So user is going to be, so we have that get user function. It just returns supabase.auth.user, just so that I don't have to import Supabase everywhere and then use that. I can just import it from where I'm importing these other functions. So back to here, create post. So user is get user, and then the content is post content. So content and user. Okay, so from post, insert the content and the user. Those are the two columns we made. And then it'll return back to us the data and or the error. Well, or the error, not both. Okay, so let's see if that works. I get that error a lot. And if it does work, then we'll see a new row in our posts table. So now we have nothing. Okay, this Schwit is grid. Okay, that doesn't make much sense. Okay, so insert. So here's what the error looks like. Violates foreign key constraint post user F key. Okay, so the issue is that I passed in the user, but I need to pass in get user dot email. Now, yeah, okay, I think that's fine. I think this will work. Okay, cool. Successfully create post. And there it is. I think this will work. So the question is, like, what if I said, like, I hijacked it, say, bad guy at AOL.com. He's the actual user of this. And I try doing that. Bad guy. Okay, so I can't do that because this is the same error I got before. Okay, yeah. I guess because I need, as I'm using Svelte Mastery email right now, so the only value that could possibly go here is my own email. Otherwise, I get an error. Okay, so that seems like the row level security thing is working for that at least. Okay, cool. So now we have the posts that got created. Let's make sure that last one wasn't created. Yeah, okay. So now we want to actually create the post down here. So how do we do that? We can, well, first of all, we need a post. So post.svelte, like that. let me look at my notes again. So that is going to consist of these services here. Create like and create comment. So when we're looking at a post, we can add a like and we can add a comment. And it's fairly similar, so similar structure. So it's just like this, like const data error await Supabase dot from the name of the table, and then insert the data that we want to insert. Okay, so we're going to create a like table with a post and a user. So come to Supabase and new table, likes. It seems like they need to be lowercase. I'm not positive, but I was getting some errors when it wasn't. So we also want row level security, add column. So basically a like, we're just going to let people add likes, not take their own likes away. So you can give someone a bunch of likes if you want, but they're just sort of anonymous likes that is being given to a post. So we're going to link this to users. And again, let's use their email. And that cannot be null. So user and post. So we're going to, so this post refers to our post that we made, and we can use its ID. And we don't want that nullable. So it might be, if this is your first time doing this, it might be kind of confusing what's going on. Like, I can name this anything, and that will be what I use to insert right here. But I've linked it, so Supabase knows that whatever I pass in here is the user's email. And whatever I pass in here, I called it post. It knows that it refers to a post's ID. So just, it takes some time to get used to that if you're new to this. Otherwise, it might be super easy for you if you've done this a lot. Okay, so I've done something bad, it looks like. Let me see. User post. Maybe I was just talking too long and then it didn't like that. Relation likes already exists. Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't know what that was. A bit strange. Hopefully you don't get that error. It's possible because oh wait, there's no columns here. Okay, let's just add the columns manually. So this is another way you can add a table. So I just add the table with nothing there, but now I can add user primary key, no, add foreign key relation, yes. So it is, again, the user's email that we're going to pass in. Okay, and not nullable. Well, this may be nicer anyway. You can see everything. It's not all crammed in. Column user relation likes already exists. Oh, does it now? Okay. Okay, yeah, they're there. Okay, yeah, that first error we got, I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe it's because I don't know. I didn't go through the flow exactly right, but it's here now, so it should be fine for you. So there's our likes, and let's do a comments as well. So let's see if anything happens. Add column. So there'll be the content of the comment, which is just text. Okay, it's got to have something in it. And then there's the user that did the comment. Same as before, users, email. And normally I probably wouldn't use the user's email. I'd use like an ID maybe. But I'm just using email because I'm using the email as like the identifier for the user. But in reality, I would probably let the user like pick a username and use that. But this is just a simple example. Okay, so user and then post that this comment is for. So like, yeah, for example, here, post, we're using the ID. That makes sense. Okay. Save. Let's see if we get it. If we get that error. Nope. Okay. That's what should happen. Okay, cool. So now we have likes and posts, and we have these functions here to create a like and to create a comment. So let's go to post, which is, so on a post, that's where you can create a comment and a like. Okay, so what does a post look like? Let's go to DaisyUI and go to card. And let's see, which one do we want to do? What looks good? You can choose whatever you like, but I think I'll choose this one here. This looks simple enough. I mean, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, maybe I'll do that one. Got nice, got more color. Okay, so I mean, in reality, maybe I choose this one, but just for fun, I like this color, so let's do that. Okay, and let's change this to something more semantic, like article. Figure, image. So what does a post have? So what are the props for this? Export, it's got an ID. Actually, what does it have? Let's see. It's got an ID, a user that posted it, which would be the email of the user. It'll have some content, and it has some likes. Default will be 0. Have some comments. Default will be none. And then we might get to this, but public URL if it has an image. That's another option. Or maybe I should just call it image. But I'll leave that. We'll come back to that, maybe. Okay, so this is what we need. And here we're going to say if public URL, then we'll show the image. Okay, but we're going to get back to that this later. And it would be nice to somehow know what to put as the alt. You can make the user like annotate the image when they upload it, but for now it's just going to be the source like that. Okay, so we got card body, accent color. So what we're going to do is say user, which is their email, says, and then this will be the content right here. Okay, and then this button. Well, let's see. Let's put this. Let's put some posts on the page so we can actually see what it looks like. So here in index, what we want to do is import post from Post.svelte, and somehow we're going to need to get those posts and render them here. So a post will be an object with all those things in it, these things here. Okay, so how do we get our posts? We need to add a service for that. And this service is going to be a bit more complicated because we need to not only go fetch all the posts, we need to fetch all the likes and all the comments for those posts. So I don't know if I should just copy and paste it in or... well, let's see. Let's start with the first part. So let's just go one at a time. So it's going to be export async function get posts. Okay, this first part here is so from posts get all the columns. So before we were inserting, but now we're selecting. So it's kind of like SQL get all the columns, and then we're going to order them by created at. So ascending false. Yeah, basically get the most recent ones and limit 5. So you can get more if you want, but right now let's do limit 5. Okay, if there's an error here, so normally I would just return them. That's fine, like that. But the thing is, there's another step, which is getting all the comments and likes. So, but if there's an error from this first step, then we want to return that error with. So that would be empty, and there would be an error. Okay, but let's say, yeah, so it has comments and likes, so it's going to look like this. So this is a bit confusing, but let's try it out. So this is going to get, let's take this up for now. Can I, no. This is for the image. Let me just take that out real quick. We'll come back to that. Okay, so promise.all data.map. So for each post, so data is all the posts. For each post, go and fetch. I got 2 promise.all. Okay, so fetch these, fetch the likes, and fetch the comments. So this promise.all refers to all of the posts. And then here, this promise.all refers to likes plus comments. And the reason we do promise.all is because you could do await get likes and then await comments, but it's a bit slower because the comments, you're fetching the comments is waiting for you to fetch the likes, but you can just do it at the same time. So promise.all lets you do it at the same time. So I'm doing it for all the posts at the same time, and we're getting likes and comments at the same time. So, and then this one will resolve, this one here will resolve into here, and this one here will resolve into here. Okay, and then if we had the image, it would go there, into there. Okay, so here likes, we have from likes, select ID. It doesn't really matter what we select, we're just trying to get the count. So it could be star maybe, I don't know what's fastest, but just get count. I just said estimated because I assume it's faster than exact. And you don't really need an exact count for the likes, it's not that big of a deal. And then head true, this means we don't actually care about fetching the, we don't care about fetching the row. We just want to know how many likes, that's all. We don't need to actually go and get every object, every like object, we just want to know how many. Okay, and get it where the post column equals post.id, so for this post, which is right here. And then same for comments, so select all, this time we do care about the actual content and everything, equals post ID. Okay, so that will give us the count, which we will call likes, and the data, which we will call comments. And then from that, and we might want to get an error too. So like, it'd be likes error, but that's getting kind of tricky. I don't think we can go into that right now. So yeah, you might want to do like a try catch, and then you would get error, likes error, and then down here after doing the map, you would throw an error and try to catch it. But yeah, that's kind of complicated, so let's not worry about that right now. But yeah, normally there would be some error handle, but we are just mapping. So each post, we want to keep everything that was in post originally, but we want to add onto it likes and comments. And then eventually the public URL, but that's all for now. Okay, but that is only for mapping the data. So now we have the map data, which we added likes and comments to, and now we can actually return it. So data and error. So when would there be an error, I guess? Yeah, I guess we would populate error if there's some kind of error that we get from here. We could make it be the error and then make data null or something. I don't know, but we're gonna assume that that works okay. Okay, so that is getting posts. That was a bit complicated, but here we go. Just stick with me. So to actually get them, we're gonna use something from Sveltekit. Context equals module. Actually, I have a snippet for this, so let me just use that. Okay, so this is going to run before the page actually loads. Or, I mean, it's going to run before the page loads. So what you can do here is fetch data and then use export let posts, for example. And we can, so we don't need like a loading spinner or anything. It's just when the page is loaded, it'll already have this data that we're going to fetch here in the load. So here would be import get posts from lib/services. So posts, well, it'd be data error equals await get posts. And then we can return post is data, but let's say there's an error, we want to say, yeah, error is error. So post error. So if error, well, I guess we can do like we did before with the error component. Let's just pass that error in there. So if there's an error, it'll show, otherwise it won't, and that's fine. And if there's an error, there won't be any posts, so we can just say, so if there's no posts, it could just be empty, and we can use an else here. So else, it'll show this block if it's empty. So No posts found. Okay, let's see if that is working. Cool. So that was that post we made a while ago. Yeah, this it doesn't look. It's kind of bright. Should have done the other. This one here. But whatever. Just gotta stick to what I've committed to. Okay, so here we're gonna have at the bottom we want to leave a comment or we want to leave a like. So let's go back to post. Card actions will say flex, or maybe it's already flex, but justify between. So this will be likes. I guess we can do that like so. Likes equals 0. Then we want to say like. Or no. If it's 1, we want to say like. Otherwise, likes. So 0 likes, you can click that, and then we'll create a like every time it gets clicked. So that's that, but then we also want a place to leave a comment. So that's going to be similar to what we had before for the magic link form input. Let's, like this one, I'm going to do with space because when you're leaving a comment, there's not much space. And, oh wait, it's working fine there. Huh. So maybe it's... Anyway, we're going to use this one, but you can try this one too, connected. Okay, so this will be for leaving a comment. And again, let's make that a form. So leave comment. Let's see if that looks right. With space, we don't need it to say that. Maybe say your thoughts. Okay, I mean, it looks a bit weird, maybe, but that's fine. Just needs to work. So, also let's give this article a bit of a margin top. Okay, cool. Yeah, so right below, or where should we do it? It gets a bit tricky. Well, let's start out a bit simpler. So we need to import the, let's import these here. Create comment, create like, get user. And then we're going to have, okay, we have our likes equals 0. So here on click equals, let's say add like. Let's add a function. Function add like. So it's just going to automatically update on the client. Let's say likes plus equals 1. And then create like. And it needs to know the user, which is actually user's email. So this is a bit confusing, but this user is the posts user. This user here is the actual person who's using the app right now, their email. So user, and then post is going to be ID. You can maybe think of a better way to name these things so it's less confusing, but that's how that will work. So let me see. I think that is fine for adding a like. Let's see. So I like it. Wait. Like. Refresh it. Oh, 8 likes. Maybe it's because I refreshed it too quickly. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's because we never set up the likes authentication. So policies. So likes. Yeah, we can just real quick. Nobody can update or delete a like. I think that's fine. So just real quick, we're gonna do enable read access to everyone, and you can only create one if you're logged in. Okay, cool. And then for comments, anyone can read them. and then if you want to make one, you have to be logged in. Okay, and then here, so if you want to update it, it needs to be, I mean, we could make no updates also, but it probably makes sense. So auth email equals email. So let's see, a comment will have a user that left the comment. And you might want to give it like auth.user. Yeah, if auth.email equals user, or auth.email equals, I don't know how to do that though, but you'd have to like get the post user. So if someone leaves a mean comment on someone, the person that left the post could delete it also. But this is for update, so they shouldn't be able to update. Okay, so you can update your own, and then new policy, delete. So if auth.email equals user. Okay. There we go. So now if we come back, should be able to like them. Yeah, and now it's still there. Hi, cool. Okay, then I gotta refresh. 6 likes. This one has way more likes. That's, I mean, this is such a good post, so this one needs more likes. Okay, so we have posts. We can do likes now, and it saves. Now let's leave a comment. So for the comments, yeah, sorry, I'll just need to like maybe copy paste some stuff here. So comments, we're gonna put, where did I put them before? We'll put it underneath the card actions. And then to create one, let's see. Yeah, just because running out of time here, so yeah, okay. So I'm going to paste this in. It's the same as we had before. So just leave comment. So there's a create comment promise, then data error. If there's data, they created a comment, and you say thank you. Otherwise, else if error, there's this error here. And then otherwise, we just show them the form for filling out the error, or for filling out the comment. So here, this should say comment. We don't need a placeholder. Okay, so let's have a let comment content equal that. This is kind of bothering me. Let me just, because we created that error component, so let's throw it in there. Import error from lib/error. Okay, create, and then we'll have a create comment. Let create comment promise. Okay, and then function add comment, which will be so create comment promise equals create comment. And for that we have, so it's similar to this here. We got a user, and they have a post like that, and then we also just have the content, which is comment content. Okay, and after we've created the comment, we can say dot then get data error. We want to actually add this comment onto the screen, so data comments, and then we want to make sure we pass on the data and the error so that this can get it still. I think that'll work. Let's see. Okay, I was doing it like this before. Add comment. Okay. Let's see if that works. Hi, cool. Bad. Wait, why can't I see anything? Huh, that's weird. It's probably because the color of this is white Okay, I really messed up by choosing that card. Let me just real quick get this card instead. Text center. I wonder if there's if there's just one. BG accent. Maybe we don't want accent. Text. Yeah, maybe I can just remove these and it'll be fine. Okay. Hello there. Okay, it just disappeared. If I refresh, it's there. Okay, well that's got to be good enough for now. So you can try to figure out why there's that error, but I think it's fine for now. Another thing is, do you notice it kind of does this weird thing? It's because we have server-side rendering on, so it renders it on the server, but then like when the JavaScript kicks in, it gets added for real and it triggers those animations. So I think for now, it's fine to just turn off SSR. So the page won't actually load until it's ready. It's just like, let me restart. Okay, so it still does that. It's just it doesn't. There's no like initial state before that. I wonder why there's space here and not here, but whatever. That's fine. Okay, so we've got likes working. You can add stuff. Bad. It disappears. I do want to know why it's disappearing. Thank you. So if data error, is there no comment? I don't know. Okay. Oh well, let's move on. Okay, what do we still have to do? So we can, okay, we want to log out, that's for sure. So I think we had already added the logout. Yeah, sign out. So let's go index button. So on click equals handle sign out. So let's add that here. Function handle sign out. So let's import sign out from lib/services. Okay, so we can say await sign out and then go to the login page, which is like the home page. Now, have I imported goto? No. Okay, let me import both of these. And then we'll probably want to do something like this as well on the login page. So, or on the index page. Import both of those. So go to login. Okay. And then, oh, I need some water or something. Okay. And then let's do that. Yeah, let's redirect if they're not there. So we need sign out. We also need get user now. So if there's not a user, then go to login. If not already logged in. Okay. Okay, so there's that. I guess I promised images as well. Let me see if logout's working. If I refresh. Okay. I just misspelled something. Services. Okay, here we are. Logout. Okay, cool. Get magic link. Where is it? Okay. Log in. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's add the image stuff. So that's going to be with storage. Storage, we're going to create a new bucket called images, and we'll make it public. So anything you post here will be public. And obviously, you would need to be checking if you just let this go loose, who knows what people will be uploading image-wise. So if you're creating something public in prod, you're going to need to check like what are people posting. Okay, but anyway, so we have images. We're going to have as policies. So I think it is under storage.objects, so the actual images. We want to create a enable read access to everyone. That sounds good. So all of these are public. And then another policy, insert access for authenticated users only. That sounds good. So try that. Okay, and now what we want to do is add a, oh wait, let me refresh this. Okay, we want to add an upload file thing there. So let me just copy paste this component here, which is upload image. So on change get file, it's just a normal input. Let's add that to our create post. So import upload image. Like that. Okay, upload image, and let's put that right above the text area. Bind file. So now they can have post content, and they can have a file. Say is null. So now when we create a post, we want a user, content, and image is this image file is this file here. So upload image, yeah, on change it says, so if there's a file, then get e.target.files at 0. That's what you need to do, and that'll put the file right there, which we have bound to this here. Okay, so we put that in image file. So now in our services under create post, we want to check for if there is an image file. Okay, so this gets a bit complicated too, and I'm sorry, but I'll just need to probably copy paste this in. Let me 1 second. It's a big one. Okay. If image file, we want to do, okay, so if there's an image file, then in our storage, so await Supabase storage.from images, that's what we called our bucket, upload. So I'm going to put it into a bucket that is called whatever the user's email is, plus slash, so it, like another folder, date.now, which is just a number, a timestamp. So this should be guaranteed to be unique because the user is only uploading one image at a time. So it'll be their email plus the time they uploaded it, and this image file. So upload, this is like the key, the name if you've used S3, that's like just the string, the location of this file. And then you can upload an image file. You can also upload like buffer or I don't know, byte arrays and stuff, but we can just do image file. This, I'm actually not sure what it is, but it was in the example in the docs, so I kept that there. Okay, so it returns to us data and error, but because I have data and error here, I'm just going to pull data off and call it image data and image error. So if there's an image error, return that. But then we can go ahead and create the post with the image data.key. So this will return to us basically an object with just a key on it. And that will be the image. And let's create that on our table post. We need to actually create that column. So right here we say image is image data.key. So name image, add foreign key. So it'll be our objects, and it'll be based on the name. So it's a bit confusing, but this seems to work. So based on the name, which is the key. So, and this is the key or the name. Okay, so it's the name or key of the object. Allow nullable? Sure, it can be nullable because they don't have to have an image if they don't want to. No unique constraint matching given keys for reference table objects. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it did get added. It did get added, okay. So maybe those are just kind of warnings. I don't know exactly, but Now we have an image column. So let's see if that actually works. Yeah, okay. So choose file. This one here. Image. Wow. Okay, it says successfully created. Okay, so right now there's no image because I need to actually fetch the image. So just like in get post, we fetched the likes and the comments. We also need to. So if post.image, that would be just the. Here, let me refresh. You can see, hopefully, yeah. So images / sveltemastery@gmail.com / the timestamp. That's all that's getting stored in this table. So we actually have to go and get the URL that we can use for the image source. Let me show you. So if there's a post.image, so for these there's nothing, but this one has something. We are going to take that post.image. We're going to say supabase.storage.fromImages get public URL. Otherwise, if there's nothing, we can just resolve with no data. So get public URL. Now this is a bit weird, but I basically have to split it on the slash. I'm just trying to remove images here because I already have. They already know it's from images, so I don't need to include that part in here. So maybe I could like split it and use the first part here, and then the second parts like here. But basically, this will just say sveltemastery@gmail.com /timestamp. So that'll get the public URL. And that will get plopped into here. And so now our post will have a public URL like that. So post, yeah, this public URL, and if it's there, it'll show it here. So hopefully that works. Let's see. Oh, and there it is. Cool. So now we have this card that looks like that. Okay, well, that's at least everything is mostly working. You can like it. Comments are a bit weird, but they still technically work, I guess. Another thing you might want to do is, yeah, when I make a post, you want to see it immediately. So I tried doing that with comments. You have to have this dot then, but that's not working for some reason. Oh, I think it's because data needs to be spread like this. I think data returns a list of, it's like list, and then it's like an object. So I think I just need to spread it like that. Let me see if that works. Because you would have to do the same thing for, darn, no. Comment is not defined. Oops, I misspelled that too. Okay, let's see. Okay, now it's showing up. Cool. Okay, now things are working. I guess it was just erroring out and I didn't notice. Okay, and you might want to reset comment content. I guess you could do that in here, like that. Okay, so yeah, you do something similar for adding if you want this to automatically show up, but for now you have to refresh it to actually see it. Okay, but images seem to be working. You can log out, you can like. Okay, I think everything's working, so that's pretty much everything. I guess as that last added bonus, we are going to add that cool little 3D thing. So Svelte Cubed. This is super alpha, not production ready, I believe. But I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. You can try it. But it was just released, so it's still a work in progress. But you can basically make cool things. So this is just a little bonus at the end. I'm just going to copy paste it in. Let me see if I can find it. So here. So we're going to add something called Cubed. It's here. So we need to npm install 3 and Svelte Cubed. npm install 3 Svelte Cubed. Okay, so basically I wrapped it in a button. You don't have to, but so it doesn't take up the whole page. I gave it some like width and height. Okay, so basically you need a canvas with a background, and then you need the mesh, which is the actual thing, and then you need a camera to actually see it. And I use this weird thing called porous knot geometry. And then also here I've got sc.onFrame spin, so spin equals 0. So basically the rotation of this thing will go up by 0.01 constantly. I think SC on frame is just saying like every frame do this. So let's see if that is working. I guess I need to actually import that. Import cubed from lib/cube.svelte. So I get that error a lot, but usually you can just refresh and it's fine. Okay, cool. Now it's spinning and you can, yeah, it does that. Okie dokie. Well, I think that is everything. I know I sort of rushed through things, but I gotta go. So that's all. Hopefully I can edit it a bit and make it look a little better, but please like and subscribe, and please try out Supabase. And that is all for this very long video. Goodbye.